Hi everyone. This is PCEA Kikuyu Township Youth Parish, and we're here to tackle on the topic personal branding and branding as a whole. So to start with, I would like to introduce our panel, and I'll start from my far left.
Hello everyone, my name is Susan Nyandia. I am a member of the PCEA Kikuyu Township Church, and I'm born again and I love the Lord.
Hi everyone, Duncan Mugambi, Dr. Duncan Mugambi, elder PCEA Kikuyu Township, born again, and karibuni sana.
John Calvin Kamau, Parish Minister Kikuyu Township, and I love the Lord for saving my life. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. On matters to do with branding, there is that socially accepted definition of branding, which is promotion of a particular product or a company by means of advertising and distinctive design, such as the Nike, that kitik, and then the Apple, ile Apple imeumwa. So, because branding is that what you see when you see something. When you look at something, the first thing that you see, the impression that it creates, now that is branding. Now, to start us off, I would like to ask Madam Susan, what is personal branding?
Thank you for your question. According to my little research on the internet, personal branding is the practice of giving out yourself, like presenting yourself to the world, and how people see you. It's an ongoing process of developing and maintaining reputation as well as impression, and it comprises of a lot, including it's a combination of skill, experience, personality, attitude, and bringing all that together, what people can see.
That is great. Dr. Mugambi, what is personal branding to you?
My take, personal branding is an inward outward approach. What people see you, what you like to be known for. It's a process, it's not a destination. It's you build it up. In summary, it's a summary of who you are, what you want to be referred to, and what people is your projection. It's a personal projection of who you are, and it takes a process, it takes time, but it's important to ask in summary, if you summarize yourself in 5 seconds, whom do you want people to project you to be?
All right, Reverend Calvin, what is personal branding to you?
It's an impression, that which you impress on people. When people do not see you, that which that they think about you and what they saw. So what they carry home. It's a personal branding.
Great. So back to you, Reverend. Do we have Christian branding?
Well, since branding is a general term that is accepted, we talk about Christian branding, then is that which you see in a Christian. For example, when the disciples were being told they are behaving like Christ, it is that impression of who Christ is and the presentation of how they have understood him, the disciplines that they have gotten from him, that which they show to others.
Yes, Dr. Mugambi, what is your feel on Christian branding?
First and foremost, you see, Christians is people who saw some guys and they were saying they behave like Christ. Those guys, so it's Christian. They were identified with Christ. So basically, Christian branding is what the values do you entrench, that when people view you or people see you, they're able to see Christ or behavior. So as we mentioned, branding is a picture of who you are, because we say 1,000 ones equals a picture. So what pictorial do you want people to see from you? So there's Christian branding in the sense of we know the values Christianity entrenches. So Christian branding is people are able to see you and see the projection of those values in your life and your career. So Christian branding is there in the sense of in your workplace, whatever you do, in your socialization, that one should encompass branding that is right, which is Christian branding.
Great. Susan?
Well, according to me, Christian branding is, as you've said, branding it's an impression. It's something that possesses power because you give out a lot, what people can see. And so we know that Christ is Jesus was a brand himself. And that's why there's Christianity. So for me, Christian branding is necessarily not what you are able to sell to other people, but something that is, as Elder said, inward, you bring outward. So it's a set of values rather than just what you let people show. So it's being Christ-like. So when people see you, they see Jesus, they see Christian.
Great. In most times we have seen people finding it difficult to live the Christian life in their places of work. Or let me put it this way. Someone is very, very faithful in church, and when they go to their places of work, they are totally different people. Like there are two people. So how do we combine the Christian branding and the socially accepted branding of, I want to make good sales? How do we combine the two to form one holistic approach on branding? Dr. Mugambi.
First and foremost, I would say Christianity is a lifestyle. Christianity is not an event, a day, like on Sunday and Monday you are different. I know in the corporate world, branding is the perception, the way it is carried out. But for Christian, branding is who you are, is a changeless core of who you are. So basically, branding is branding, and from a Christian perspective, is you ensure you don't have what you call double personality. Become one person. Accept who you are and work it out. That's what he's saying. Branding is you build it up. It's not a destination. It's work in progress. So basically, you have to put a lot of effort and ensure you are one person. Because when you have two personalities, literally you are sick. It's important you become yourself and you work towards being the better version of who you are. Because branding is pictorial. It's the picture that you want to display about you.
Yes, Rev, what's your approach?
The challenge is not in the presentation of the brand as a Christian service, the social. The challenge is in the entrenching of that brand. Because when I see Coca-Cola or Coke and I get excited, it's because I've tasted that brand of Coke. So when I see and I feel thirsty even when I'm not thirsty. It's because it is entrenched in me. The same way. If Christ is entrenched in my life, then leaving him will be very, very easy. To just be an overflow. When people say it's out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So therefore my life will be a lived life, a lived experience of that which flows out of my life.
Great.
So the challenge is not a present, as Dr. is saying, it's not a presentation here. It's a lived life. What flows out.
True. That is very accurate. Susan, now as a youth, how do you go about it?
As a youth, it can be challenging. I'm pretty sure you've been youth at one point in your life. It is pretty challenging because you want to conform to the patterns of the world, and in accordance to the world, branding and the actual product, they can vary. Yeah? But some of the core, what can we call them? The core of branding, it should be authentic. That what you sell should be authentic, consistent, so that customers, it's selling something. You're saying you're selling Christ, then it should be something consistent in your life. So as a youth, it's challenging, but because we have so much influence around us, but it's important to remember that you can fool others, but you can never fool yourself, and you can never fool God, because we know in Jeremiah 17:10 it says that Lord is the one that searches hearts and minds. So what you are and who you are and what God sees of you is what should matter, not necessarily what you are trying to show other people. So I could be coming to church every Sunday there as a youth, my secretary, doing my best, but when I go back home, I do my own stuff. I maybe watch pornography and do all this, but to people, I'm a good Christian. I wear modestly, but in my heart, and God who sees my heart and mind, I am dirty, I'm filthy. So it's important to know that it's just not what you let others see, but also be true to yourself and remember that you have, it is greater than you are, because God can see your heart and mind.
Great. What would we say is the importance of branding? We have defined what branding is. We have also talked about the Christian aspect of branding and how to make it, how to live in accordance to it. What is the importance of branding? Why should someone brand themselves? Tuanze na daktari.
In the corporate world, when you hear of Coke, you hear of Safaricom, and brand sales. Now, from our context, Christianity is, we are selling Jesus. We are projecting Jesus. Our responsibility is mission work as a believer. Because, and you have to influence people. And the influence is positional. Influence is what you project outside. That's why we are saying branding is for me to sell Jesus, for people to see values that Jesus or Christianity project, I have to be very cautious of how I live. That's why we are saying branding is what people see in me, and they love the unseen God in my life. So it's literally we are selling, or it's a mission work. So branding from this context, it's a mission for God, mission for my values, because people will see values in me. We have other brands, like for example, people know of Nelson Mandela, we have other brands. Why? Because there are values that they lived for. So it's a sell, it's mission work.
Susan, what is the importance of branding?
I feel the importance of branding is to echo what I want to do to say it's relevant. I also feel it's to gain trust and to have that authenticity that you are targeting a specific audience. And if I'm my youth, I should reach out to my fellow youth. I should try to show them how to live a better life in Christ. So it is important to always, be consistent, as I said earlier, be consistent with what you're doing, with the brand you're trying to sell. You be clear so that you can retain that authenticity and gain trust with people. Also, if I'm serving in church, if I'm not consistent in what I'm selling, if I'm not a good Christian, then how can I be trusted to handle church, affairs? So it is important. It is all. Primarily, I think it's to build that trust with the people, because you're trying to sell something. So this is also interacting with people. So yeah, it's to build trust. Another thing.
Oh, great. Rev, as a father, what is the importance of branding to our youth?
One is uniqueness. We should be proud to be unique and to be different. Since none of us is like the other. There's a term I like very much that says God has no grandchildren. We are always children. So therefore we are unique. None of us should be the other. And it's not good to be proud to be different. Because there's a challenge in the world of wanting, like Susan is saying, to conform. But that uniqueness makes you the brand you are. Two, it's transformational. The moment you become authentic, the moment you present your own identity, it has a transformative power. Because deep calls unto the deep. That deep in me will have an influence on someone else's depth. That which I believe in, it's that depth that will go to the other person's depth.
Wow.
So transformation. Because unless I'm able to transform people by who I am, just be poetry.
And theatrics.
There you are.
You have something to add, Dr. Mugambi?
Yes. I think the world is very shallow in many things. We are very shallow in many things. And that's why I like the verse, Romans 12, this is people say, be ye transformed, not be ye conformed. Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. So branding is basically you have to be transformed. And when you are unique, as Lev is saying, you are so comfortable with yourself. But when you carry a type of personality, you are always in fear. What will people say? The projection will be very, very different. But the moment you are comfortable with your color, and also for the young people, be comfortable with your skin. It's really, that's how you start. Be comfortable with your skin. Irrespective of what people think, be comfortable with you and work on it. Because you are not comfortable with yourself, whom do you expect to be comfortable with you? So you project who you are. If you are an annoyed person, you are able to get annoyance from you. So the moment you are at peace yourself, you will sell peace. The moment you are happy with yourself, you will sell happiness.
Wow.
So I like the magnet. So important branding from this perspective, be comfortable with who you are. If you are short, you don't bring on to be taller. You be comfortable with who you are. Be comfortable with yourself. That's really important.
That is true. So do you have anything to add?
I think everything has been said pretty clearly, yes.
So what is the cost of branding? We have been talking about renewing ourselves by the renewal of the mind. What is the cost of branding? Susan?
One of the cost of branding, I'd say is as I said, branding mostly targets an audience. When it's Coca-Cola, they're targeting an audience. I, as myself, I'm a Christian, so that is a brand I'm going to say. So, I wouldn't get everyone to appreciate what I'm selling. That's one of the costs. Everyone won't like what you're selling.
Yes.
You will lose some friends, But actually, that's one of the struggles young Christians have. My friends, what do my friends think now that I'm a Christian? I want to be able to do what we've been doing, clubbing and all that. So you're going to lose a specific audience, and that's one of the costs. It's a hard one, but it's the price. It's a good price to pay because then you gain the authentic crowd that you need to have around.
Dr. Mugambi.
Good. I think Lev or someone else always says salvation is free, but it's not cheap. I think I'm correct. Salvation is free, but it's not cheap.
There's a price to pay.
Everything has a price to pay. Even for me to be a Christian, somebody had to pay the price. So even branding, I can recommend to my viewers, there's a good book. It's discipline, because even we say the success is what you do daily. What you do daily equates to your success. So even in branding, it is some disciplines for you to have these values, for you to project Christianity, project faithfulness, for you to project all this. There's a cost, or there's something you have to work to put effort in. There's a good author, it's called Richard Foster. He has written Celebration of Discipline. He says there are internal disciplines that you have to develop, which are difficult, but they are able to help you to become who you are. So basically, I would say the cost is there, because even Jesus said, for you to follow me, there's a cost implication. Even a priest reached the earth, people left him, and in the book of John, and a priest reached, and he told them, and you disciples, do you still want to leave me? So it's not something easy. There's some work for you to pray, and it's a building. Salvation is also a building. There's a building block. So we can't say it's free. And Christian, it is not. There's a cost implication in it. So work hard, develop yourself, and also brand is focus. You must focus on something. That's why, because when Coca-Cola they're selling, there's what they want you to see. So you have to focus on something. Focus on the values that you want to project. So there's work in it, and it takes time. Even as we are working in progress. No one is a finished report.
Yes, Rev.
Well, the cost of acceptance, self-acceptance, since you have to work on your weaknesses, your strengths, and as we said earlier, you can't be someone else. And I think there's nothing as tough as accepting who you are. It's a cost enough. Two, the self-development. After you know who you are,
yes,
there's where you want to go. There's always an input. At times it may be financial, it may be time, may also be the kind of people you are with. Then the other cost is the cost of mentorship. For you to have people that work with you, you have also to invest in that friendship, in that relationship. And that is quite a cost.
Wow. You've mentioned something, Rev, that is quite intriguing. And I know this is an area that we as youth face a lot of challenges in identifying mentors, So how can the youth be able to identify a mentor, and this is someone who will help them grow in terms of spiritual aspects, career-wise or academically, depending on what stage they are in at the moment, and also socially, as a whole thing. How do you do that?
One, you shouldn't have one mentor who covers everything, because no one is a jack of all trades. Is you ask yourself, what do I want? You can have someone who mentors you in your career area, because that person is that career you want to become. You can have someone who mentors you even on investment. You can have someone else who mentors you on family life. But the key thing here is, are they first of all an example in that which you want them to mentor you in? So get attracted to what they do first. Then how do you identify them? By simply becoming friendly to them. Wanting to have time with them. At times you're telling them, I like what you do. And through that, then especially older people are very good at saying what they want to do, what they do. So by them sharing what they do, you start grasping those insights. Two is to create time. Time. Because there's no mentorship without time. Are you available? And finally, teachable. If your mentor gives you an assignment, is it done? Or do you come back again and then you have to start from zero? Because that mentor will be tired of you. If they tell you, read this book, like Dr. Mugambi said, to read Richard Foster's book. If you're there and you don't even read one chapter, then mentorship becomes like a one-way traffic.
Yes, Susan, so how do you identify, as a youth, and probably I'll ask this indirectly, do you have someone you're mentoring, as a senior youth?
I'm not a senior youth. But you've asked if I have someone that I'm mentoring.
Yes.
I remember there's a preaching where I once given, you were taught that you have to have someone above you, your peers, and someone below you. So after that, I started asking myself, who should I, what do I have to share? What is in me that I have to share? So that was a tough question to ask myself, because it means I had to develop myself and develop what, have something to give out. So do I have people? I have friends. I have younger friends. I have my younger cousins, my younger brother. So the best thing you can do is just be their friends at this point. I think that title of mentorship to younger people is a bit too heavy. When you get older, like right now, I can seek a mentor because I know what I'm doing. But for younger people, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, it's hard. If you just tell them I want to mentor you, itakuwa story ingine. So the best thing you do is to be their friend, and that way they can trust you. And once they know they can trust you, they can come to you with anything, and you can know how to help, because I'm young, so I haven't experienced much, but I can also know how to tell that person, go to Rev, go to Enda, go to so and so, and there's a kusaidia with this and that. So far, that's what I can say I'm doing.
Great. The last one to Dr. Mugambi. We've talked about, the importance of the role of mentors in the branding aspect. And here is a youth who's jungling in between probably business or employment, school in the evening, coming out of class at around 8:30. How are they able to, get, or how do they create time to seek mentorship or to do the branding?
I would like to take it the other way loud. In fact, sorry for this, it's good to have references.
Yes.
A good book on you can get a number of tips on mentorship is a book by John Maxwell. It's called 15 Indisputable Rules of Growth. In it, he mentions one of the qualities for mentorship is teachability. So if you don't have mentorship, mentors, quote unquote, it's an indication of how unteachable you are proud. Because a person who has no mentors, you don't like learning from others. And why mentorship is very, very critical on that element is because I don't have to repeat the mistakes that the left has gone through. But when I accept to be mentored by him, I will learn from what took him 20 years. It will take me just a sitting for me to learn. So question is, you are juggling with many activities. So for a young person, the youth, my advice is distinguish between activity and productivity. Sometimes you have a lot of activities, but are they adding value? For example, if I go to your Twitter account, your Facebook account, whom do you follow? By seeing whom do you follow, the guys you follow, do they have any values? What do they do? It can indicate to me your value systems. So basically, because mentorship is growth, so if you want to grow emotionally, financially, socially, and all aspects, seek mentorship. So it's the issue of you prioritize, you ensure you prioritize, and you see the need of growth. If you see the need of growth, you see the need of progress, seek mentorship. It is for your own equal advantage.
Great. Now for the closing remarks, tuanzie na Susan.
I think everything has been said. I don't want to keep on echoing what has been said, but there's one specific thing that I'd like to repeat again is that you can fool others on matters of branding, because that's what you're saying. You can fool others, but you can never fool yourself and you can never fool God. So I think that would be my closing remark, that you remain true to yourself. I know that God is seeing your heart and your mind. So what you are selling out there, if it's not authentic, you can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to God. So that's what I say. Dr.
Mugambi?
Mine to come to a close is, assume your life is a movie. You're watching a movie and it's your life. Question, are you the main character?
Wow. Rev?
To me, branding is not about packaging. It is a content. What is a content?
Great.
Because content never changes.
Great. Thank you. We've come towards the end of our discussion. If you have any questions, you can send them to the youth group or reach out to me, Danson Ndegwa, and we will gladly answer your questions. Thank you. My name is Danson Ndegwa, a youth deacon in PCEA Kikuyu Township. Blessings.